Okay, I'm going to open with the completed work, and then I'll just kind of give you a brief overview of what I've done. There's lots of videos that show you how to do this stuff. I'll just tell you the way I did it. So I wanted to work from the inside out. My inners were rusted away from the outers. My pillars were rusted away. Bracing it wasn't an option, so I just had to figure out where to start. So what I did is I put this pan in first, located this hole, bolted it through to the mount. That helped me locate it. I left myself about a 1/2 inch all the way around, placed this over the overlap, welded it in. Then I did my outer using all of this here to help locate where it's going to go. You can't put it on this way the wrong way. You can't really put it on that way the wrong way. If you leave yourself that 1/2 inch overlap, you'll be able to measure it out, and that'll get that where it needs to be. At that point, you can put these supports on because you'll know exactly where they need to go. There's one at the front, there's one at the back. And then once those are all lined up, those bolt to these pillars. And the pillar will actually give you a little bit of leeway this way and that way. So when you put your outer rocker on, it'll tell you where you are. And then what I did, a lot of guys will tack them in or weld them in, test fit, and then weld up or cut out or whatever. I just use screws. I just put a couple screws in. Is it where I need it? Nope. Move it, put another couple screws. I can weld up those holes easy enough. So that's what I did. Same thing on the other side. I'll walk you around. You hear how good that door closes. On this side, this door used to push this pillar over when you close the door. That's how off it was. And same thing, I welded that panel in. I went off the brace there, off that brace all the way up. Left myself a 1/2 inch overlap, easier to weld. I'm not blowing through. I'm not trying to be perfect with my cuts. I'm not trying to build anything up. 1/2 inch overlap, boom, easy to weld. Put in this inner rocker with that floor piece. That's all one piece, goes down and across. Welded that in, same thing, located it. You can see how well everything lines up. It helps you locate it. When I went to bolt this one in, I actually had to hog out my holes a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch. It wasn't quite right. And then yeah, this side went in. And you can see how nice that closes. I don't have weather stripping in there yet, so it kind of sitting in too deep, but that's where it'll be. It's a good fit. I'm real happy with it. Anyway, I do have some video footage for you. Floor cut out, some patch panels going in, so on and so forth. So we'll get on with that. Okay, so this is my 66 Chevy. Be the same for GMC. I think it goes back to 60 to 66. Yeah, somewhere in there anyway. You might have to do a little of your own digging. Anyway, you can see there my floor pan has been repaired with a license plate in that spot. Looks like they just took some screws and screwed that down. Over here we got the typical farmer rivets through tin, and then on the inside you can see it's just rotted out. Down here on the rocker it's rotted out. You can see right through the inner rocker there. And when we look at the outer rocker down there, she's gone. And then up in here you can see, you know, the salt and snow and sand and gravel. This all takes its toll after a while. So we went ahead and ordered some parts in. Ordered them all from the same manufacturer, hoping that it would all tie together beautifully. It's not quite like Legos, but it's close. We'll be able to work with it anyway. At the back here, it's fairly straightforward. So this piece here is this piece here. Of course, this is covered with an outer rocker, but trust me when I say this piece goes through there, is that. And then you can see there's going to be 3 bolt holes that come through. And they're going to come through this side this inner rocker. That's this guy right here. That guy's going to come down, and then this guy goes on the outside of it, and then on the inside, the underneath, if you will, you got that rear support. That one's real straightforward. Up here, things get a little more challenging as they're not quite lining up the way they should. So this guy's got 3 holes, but only 2 are punched. Over here is supposed to be 2 holes at least, but only 1 is punched. This one up here doesn't quite line up. I'm not too sure what's going on here because I got a gap there. If I run this hole down to this guy, that really don't line up. This guy here is not really lined up with anything right now. And if we flip that over, you can see that's the case in the back as well. Now, once you actually start installing this and doing a little bit of welding and hammering and so on and so forth, I'm sure we'll get a better feel for it, and we'll make everything line up. That's not really a big issue. I mean, if you look at what we're dealing with right now and it lines up, I think we can get there. The big thing will be that guy. That's the outer rocker. That's the one we're all going to see. That's the one that's got to line up. That's the one that's got to fit great. And it's got to fit with the door. It's got to fit with the cab corner. Got to fit with the fender. This stuff here, we got to make work. Anyway, we're going to get started on that pretty quick. And hope you follow along. Okay, so we have some of the passenger side cut out on the floor here. I'll take you over and let you know where we stand. Now I have no bracing in here, as you can see, same as the other side. My floor wasn't attached to my rocker to begin with. When you tried to close the door, it would actually push the cab apart. No sense bracing it in the wrong spot, so I didn't bother. What I did do is I replaced this little pillar extension here and made sure it lined up with the remnants of the front support and what was left of this inner rocker before I chopped her off. And also lined it up with the old one, blah, blah, blah. I'm confident that's in the right spot. On the back here, we have this guy here. So I got this panel. So this panel, this will line me up with that guy for my high-low. And also these holes here, they also line up with these holes. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna cut it somewhere around here and down. So it puts me in the good metal here, and it puts me in the good metal here. And this is where this one ends anyway. I don't know if you can see that. That's this jog out here. So I'm gonna cut her about here, across and down, line up that hole, have that patch panel installed, and then I'm gonna start lopping off this inner structure. One thing I found is these Taiwanese or Chinese or whatever, wherever these panels come from, they're not right to begin with. So you're gonna do some hammering and smacking and welding and squishing and cutting, grinding. You're gonna do that anyway. So I don't know, like why bother trying to brace everything up? The inner rocker itself is what everything is going to align to. So see those holes there? And you see those holes there? Those are what are gonna get you lined up. If you're not lined up to those holes, this probably ain't gonna work for you. So don't weld those supports in until you get it lined up with that inner rocker, is my thought process. That's what I did on the other side. So this is our front support. I'll lay it in place. I might even get that bolt through there, but that'll still allow me some wiggle room back and forth. And until that inner rocker's in, I'm not gonna weld that in. Same as on the back, I'll do the same thing. This is the support from the back. It needs some holes drilled. I'll put it in place, line everything up. Once that inner rocker is where I want it, then I'll weld that in place too, but not until. And then once that's done, I can go ahead and put on my outer rocker. That's where things get critical. I had to line my outer rocker up a few times on the driver's side, but I'm pretty happy with the way she turned out. That door still needs some adjustment. You can see over here, this is actually squished in a bit, so it gives the illusion of a little more gap here. Those door bottoms need to be repaired. I got patch panels for that. I'll take care of that as well. But overall, I'm real happy with the way it turned out. I'm real happy with the way she opens and closes, body lines, door gap, etc. Let's see if we can't get it close on the other side too. Okay, so after some careful consideration, you see my floor pan's got this dugout here. My new pan does not have that. And this is actually good metal here. It turns to shit over here. I'm thinking about, so I pulled out, where is it now? It doesn't matter. I pulled out that large retainer there for the cab mount. It runs, that bolt runs through. Of course, I didn't want to give up, so I had to air chisel it off. But that'll help locate my pan. This line here will help locate it, and this line here will help locate it. But what I want to do is I want to actually run a weld down this frame here up, and you can see where it goes up in here, and then take it across and then down. This one will run somewhere in here, and so it'll just be a smaller patch panel than what we did on the driver's side. We did the whole thing. On the driver's side, it had a hole underneath the gas pedal. This side does not. I think maybe I'll crawl underneath, make sure that the rot isn't worse than the bottom. Maybe I'm not maybe I don't want to miss something here. Now's the time to catch it. But I think ideally what I'd like to do is run a patch here, here, up a bit and across, and then back down. And then the inner rocker will catch all that. Here's the El Cheapo pan. You can see it. I've already trimmed some off. It used to run all the way down into there, but you can see it doesn't fit worth a shit. It's now when you start cutting the floor away, it'll have a tendency to grow a little bit on you, and then this will have a tendency to shrink a little bit on you, or at least that's the feeling you'll get as it sits inside that pocket. But what I want to do is kind of come down across here, then down there. I just have to figure out how to make sure I don't lose too much of that, and then make sure I leave enough on for the inner rocker to grab here. I'll have to trim this again, of course, but for right now, I think we're in a pretty good spot. I'm gonna go and have some breakfast and try and figure all this out. But basically what it'll look like when I'm done is it'll be a patch about this big. This will be lopped off, that'll be lopped off, and then we'll have our inner rocker coming across here. And that lopped off piece will make for a good patch piece back there, which I'll still need when I get there. So that's where we are. If you noticed, I took that lower mount out of the way. That's this guy. He'll go in after that panel. After that panel is where I want it for sure. Then I'll weld that mount in there, and then I'll weld in the pan, and then I'll weld the support to the pan itself and bring it out here. Make sure everything lines up before that inner rocker goes on. Same thing we'll do in the back. we'll get that support on before the inner rocker. All right, so those are my thoughts right now. We'll see if I actually do it or not. Okay, so we got the old piece cut out. It's all routed away at the bottom. You can see just how much of this was missing. I believe we had just this one bolt hole left. So with this piece gone, this here, it'll help us line up that inner rocker. So all I did was I cut out this, this part here, so I could pull it right over, and I ran a bolt through here, through both of these, lined them up, ran the zip cut across. Boom, Bob's your uncle. Welded her in. She looks good enough to bury underneath the rocker. All of this will be underneath the outer rocker panel, which goes up to this line. Just make sure you get her nice and strong in there, and don't fret too much. She'll be good to go. When I did cut this did pop up, so there was a little bit of tension on here still. But like I say, I don't know if you can see that or not, but you know, my cab wasn't in the right spot anyway. So we'll see if we can't get her lined up and looking better. I think next we'll do this front pan. I'll lay it in, trace it out, do some cutting, and see where we end up. Hang tight. Okay, I think I skipped over a part here, but I'll try and get you brought up to speed anyway. So this is where I'm sitting right now. So this is my floor patch went in. I actually overlap here about maybe a ½ inch all the way. This is my brace, and then it comes up here. I'm on top of the brace, and then across the top, and again about a ½ inch overlap there. I know a lot of guys like to butt weld their sheet metal together. I don't think my skills are there to get it perfect alignment all the way across. And I'm not doing a show truck. I really want structural stability, so when I beat this thing up, it'll be fine. Back in here, I don't know if you remember, but this part of the floor was rusted and gone. So I just actually took a piece out of here, the old stuff, and I was able to put a patch in before this guy went in. And then of course the support is underneath. And then all of this here it's all got that same ½ inch overlap all the way along. It allows me, in my opinion, a little better penetration, so you can get on there with the weld a little bit more. So I still need to put a patch in there. The issue I'm having right now is, of course, these are the El Cheapy panels, and you can see back here, see that light coming through? Those bolt holes don't line up. So I did have them lined up. See how it's not quite there? If I bring you on straight, you can see they're a good ½ inch off. So if I pull that panel back a ½ inch, I create more of a gap. I'll see if I can show you. I don't know if I can put this on one-handed or not. But I'll give it a go. Okay. So this is where it wants to be. Got a little bit of hammering around and dicking around to do up there, but it's not bad. Along here is good, and along there, same thing. There's a little bit of dicking around, but you can see it fits good here. A little hammering in there, maybe a little pie cut in there, and you know we can work the rest out. Can't show you along the bottom, but it lines up real nice along the bottom too. Yeah, I don't know if you can see anything there. No, probably not. But this lip here fits that inner rocker beautifully. So that leads me to believe that this is where it wants to be, and I should probably open those holes up to get those to line up a little bit better, as opposed to moving that pillar back. Because when I move that pillar back, I think the fitment goes to hell. So before I do anything, I think what I'm going to do is just tack this outer rocker on, and I'll throw that door on, and I'll see what it looks like. I'll have to cut the tacks, of course, but par for the course. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Took a little while to get here. Probably I don't know, a good 6 or 8 hours into this from start to finish so far on this side. It's not too bad. It's just final fitment, but of course that's where all the work is, isn't it? So anyway, I'm going to get on that and then I'll come back. So anyway, this is a completed job. If you're making a truck to drive and build, and you know, I think this is a great way to do it. It's structurally sound. I feel 100% you could pick this up with a forklift on the rockers. Same as the other side. I feel I'm real happy with it. The way these doors open and close now is great. I got everything sealed up, all good to go. The fit is nice. You can see that all the way down and across on the bottom. If you're building a show truck, maybe you do want to cut and butt and have everything butt welded so there's no seams, but I'm happy with the way it looks. I don't know if I can get you a good view of underneath or not. I don't know what you can see down there, but it looks good. I have 0 complaints. Job took a little longer than I expected. Got a couple days into it, but you know what? She's strong. She's solid. Happy with the door fitment for these trucks anyway. You know, that door needs some work obviously, but pretty happy with everything. If you've been putting this off like I was, don't. Just grow a set and do it. It really isn't that bad. Do your floor first, then your mounts, and then your pillars. You'll be set. Finish off with the rocker. That's the only one that really needs to be lined up. Everything else, well, they bolt together. You'll figure it out, I promise. Good luck.